December 10th, 6 p.m. I'm Counselor Tallman. We have Counselor Mike Sullivan, Counselor Linda Vacan, Counselor Howie Graney, Crystal Barnes in the Law Department, and Katie Jakowski. And we have some other members here for licenses.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
Good evening. Someone take off the item number 1 off the table?
Motion to take item 1 off the table.
And are you calling me in to make the quorum?
Yeah, to make the quorum. Counselor Vacan will the 3rd member as of now to make the quorum.
Okay, I'll second that motion then.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Just have to get the bear with me, I got it on my phone here, the agenda. Item 1, taken up 8/4/20, a secondhand license application for Jonathan Maldonado at 385 Main Street. It was tabled on 11/23/20. And Jonathan, you here? Is that Jonathan?
No.
No. You want to table that then? Is there Jonathan Maldonado and Jeffrey?
So the secondhand licenses don't have any contact info but addresses. So I did send a letter to him giving him the Zoom information and encouraging him to reach out to me. I hadn't heard back from him though.
You haven't? Okay, because that was tabled from our 11/23/20 meeting.
Okay, motion to table.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. All opposed? None. Okay, well, table number 1. Item number 2, the secondhand license application.
Motion to take up item 2.
Second.
Secondhand license application for Sadiq
John Mamajanoff.
Mamangelo at 50 Holyoke Street. You,
Yes.
the applicant?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. You're a license for what? Is it for jewelry or gold?
Jewelry, gold, silver.
Okay. And you sent in your application. It's here on the, I believe it's on the website here. And you filed this application in November?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so this is the first time doing this.
Yes. I mean, in Holyoke, yes, but I have experience in Syracuse, New York, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and we had a couple locations like back in 4 or 5 years ago.
Okay. And were you ever in Holyoke before?
No.
No, you weren't. Any questions by anybody in the committee?
Peter, what? Yes.
Councilor Graney?
Just what's the address of the secondhand license?
It's 50 Holyoke Street. It's the mall.
Okay. What would it be, a kiosk?
Yes, sir.
Kiosk, okay. Councilor Vacan?
Chairman Tallman, thank you. Through the chair to the applicant, could he just review for us how he'll be taking the items in and what the process and procedure will be, and the steps he's gone through relative to this permit?
Could you answer that?
I didn't get the question, sorry.
Items in and yes.
Yeah, I will get the items and hold it for 30 days. So after that, I will resell it.
And you're involved with the police department? You let them know?
No, I just filed application with you guys, and I make the appointment for fire department to come to check the kiosk.
Okay, but I believe, if I'm correct, Mike, isn't there something with the police department has to be kept for 30 days? Is that any items that are brought in?
That sounds like what's been on other licenses before.
Right.
Do you have a registration with the police department?
No, sir.
No, I believe we had that with our last time we had a secondhand license, that when with a pawn shop, they had to bring if they brought things in, they'd have to take a picture of them and a description and keep it for 30 days.
Yeah,
Yes.
I believe that that's state law,
Standard? Yeah.
standard state law. I don't think it's something that is part of the permit process.
Okay. And I believe to be paid, normally you have to have everything paid. That's basically through the mall, right? The taxes are being paid. I mean, if he's paying rent
Yes,
through the
sir.
mall, right?
Yes, sir.
So you're paying a rent to the mall for your spot.
Yes, sir.
And as far as I know, the mall's up to date, hopefully, on their taxes, right?
Yeah.
Any other questions?
Mr. Chairman?
Counselor Bacon?
So how does he plan on keeping a record of his items?
I'm gonna have a copy of the drive license and the signature from the customer, and I'm gonna ask the signed date.
So you're going to have a book,
All information of the customer.
a running book that you keep?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And I'm just trying to read the regs as I'm going because I'm sitting in and I'm not usually on this committee, but
Okay.
so I'm not trying to pick on you.
No problem.
So the regs are talking about the record of the purchases. And you mentioned the copy of the license, right?
Drive license, yes, ma'am.
Because then there's the concern about minors, right?
Yeah, I'm not gonna buy from the younger than 18 years old.
Okay. And they're also, now through finance, we're giving a permit, right, Peter?
Right.
But we're not giving a license.
No, I believe it's a permit.
Right, so,
I believe it goes for 1 year.
right. So I'm looking to see, I don't know if there's any license rule that applies here, and maybe Crystal would know that relative to jewelry and gold and silver. Maybe we could suspend rules and Crystal could weigh in. So I'll make a motion to suspend the rules just because we have
Second
a little bit of a knowledge gap here.
Yeah, Crystal, could you unmute yourself? And is there something, a license that need to be made or with this permit?
Can you guys just repeat? I'm trying to serve dinner to the little ones, so.
Okay.
What's the question?
Linda?
So this person is applying for a special permit to sell jewelry, gold and silver at a kiosk at the mall.
No,
It's a
excuse me,
license.
ma'am.
It is a license, right? Secondhand license.
Yeah, second-hand license, and I will just buy the gold, not to sell. I
Oh,
will.
You're just
Like
buying
a-
it.
oh,
Yeah.
okay. You're just
Yeah.
buying the gold.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, okay. I misunderstood that.
No problem.
Okay, and so then we are awarding this, still considered a secondhand license.
License, right, because he's
Okay.
purchasing. Yeah.
Okay.
So what do you
Okay.
need from me?
Well, I was thinking he was selling and there was perhaps a separate step involved, but so I guess we don't need anything from you. Thank you.
Okay.
Back to dinner.
Sorry about that. Thank
That's
you for
good.
clarifying that. I was thinking
No
it was
problem, ma'am.
not just.
problem.
per-
So if somebody has some gold they want to bring to you, you would weigh it up, some like a gold jewelry, old jewelry, you weigh it up and you give them a purchase for that.
Cash.
A price
Yes,
for
sir.
that, cash.
Oh, okay.
Yes, sir.
Now, have you opened, you're not open yet, are you?
No. I'm gonna open January 1st.
January 1st, okay.
Oh, you're gonna miss the Christmas season.
Yeah.
A little bit
Yeah.
of it, yeah. Any other questions by any counselors? I think we covered just about everything. I know you get the police department registered, secondhand license, and I believe it's for 1 year.
Yeah.
When they come back. Does it say that in the Counselor Vacant? Does it
On
yearly license?
top of of what I'm looking at that Jeff sent me,
Right.
it says said license runs from May 1st to April 30th of each year, regardless of application date.
Okay, so we'd have to maybe renew it in April
April.
In,
Yes, sir.
in April for May 1st.
for May 1st. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it'll run
Mr.
through
Chairman?
April 30th.
Okay.
According to,
Chairman,
Counselor Graney?
oh, just how about hours of operation?
Yeah, that's the other thing. What are your hours of operation going to be?
That's gonna be more hours, like 10 to 9 or 11 to 7, depend on more hours.
Okay, so whenever the mall is, if the mall opens up.
Yes.
Okay, and how about the days of the week?
7 days.
So you Monday through Sunday,
Sunday. Yes, sir.
and during the mall, so if the mall for some reason closes up, then you just won't be able to.
Exactly.
Okay, and if they close at 5 o'clock on Sunday, then you'd be there from say 11 to 5.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I'll put Monday through
Through
Sunday, and with congruent with the mall hours opening.
More hours.
More
Exactly.
hours.
Yeah. Correct.
I'll have to put that in there for the, it's sort of like a condition, I guess, for the
Yeah.
license. Okay, good question, Counselor Graney. Sometimes we miss a few things. Anything else by any counselors? Any other comments?
Well, if you're gonna do, excuse me, Mr. Chair,
Yeah,
if you're
Counselor.
gonna, the license, once again, the license should state that, Mr. Maldonado is only gonna sell, not buy. That should also be part of the license.
right.
he's
it's
only
not-
by.
Oh,
Right.
bang. Yeah.
We'll put that in there. It's not Maldonado, it's, I can't even pronounce the last name. It's the second one here.
Mama Jonoff.
Okay.
Oh,
Okay.
I'm sorry, Mr. Mamajolo,
It's
sorry.
okay. It's okay, sir. It's okay.
Okay, so we will put that in there that you're only buying. Joe's going to be here in about a minute. Counselor Leahy said he had a prior commitment, so he won't be attending tonight.
Since Counselor McGiverin will be here in a minute, maybe we should just let him review everything we did before we
We could do
vote.
that.
Yes.
We could do that if everybody could wait a minute or two.
If that makes sense.
Yes.
The applicant, is that okay with you?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we're just going to wait a couple minutes. Our chairman of our committee will
Sure.
be joining us shortly.
No problem.
But I think we covered mostly everything. I'll go over it when he comes in and then make sure that we have everything in order here.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate everybody helping
No
out. And
problem.
thank you, Counselor Bacon, for stepping in
Sure.
for a few minutes.
Sure,
Appreciate
thank
that. Good evening, Counselor Murphy. Thank you for attending.
I'll unmute myself. Thank you.
Yep.
Good evening.
Counselor Murphy has
Good evening,
joined us
sir.
also.
I didn't catch this early start.
Yeah, some of them, I think a couple of them realized, I didn't realize those are 6 instead of 6:30. So Joe will be here shortly.
And he's the chair. He didn't realize?
Yeah, he put the meeting, maybe he had to work a little bit later tonight. Those courts have him running sometimes.
Well, we're going to have to get on his case, I think.
We dock him a half an hour.
I
Yeah,
know. I was gonna say, cut his overtime pay.
yeah. Item 1, we're holding off on because we tabled it because we couldn't get a hold of Mr. Maldonado on Main Street. So
Ah,
there's Counselor McGiverin. Good evening, Chairman.
Hi, everybody. Sorry.
Hi. We took up a couple already, but we want to overview, make sure we go up for everything for the secondhand license for 50 Holyoke Street at the mall.
Okay, is our applicant here? You told me he was
Yeah,
gonna
he
be
is.
here.
Mr. Maldonado isn't here.
Yes, sir, I'm
Maldonado
here.
is
Good
not
evening.
here, so we tabled that one. But the other applicant is here.
Okay. I
And
think
we went through pretty much everything, but we wanted to make sure we didn't miss anything since you were coming on before we voted.
okay. If I can ask 2 questions, and again, I apologize. I had a little conflict at work and we went much later than usual.
That's what we figured.
Welcome, Mr. Maldonado.
Thank you, sir. Good evening.
With the secondhand license, are you familiar that you're required to keep track of anything you buy and anything you sell, including keeping a picture or license ID of your customers?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and the Holyoke Police Department will be up from time to time to check your log?
Yes,
Okay.
I know.
Just
I
so,
know.
just so you know about that. I thought you did because you've been here before, correct?
No, no.
First time?
Yeah, first time in Holyoke.
Okay, and you'll be buying and selling gold items of jewelry?
Not selling, Joe.
Just
Just
buying.
Just buying?
Yes, sir.
Okay. But if you keep that log, I think the police department will be very happy.
Yeah, we'll do that.
Okay. Is there any other questions?
Yeah, we covered everything. We covered the hours, Joe. We covered the times. The hours will be, the days of the week will be Sunday to Saturday. And the hours are going to be the mall hours. So if the mall will be closed, say at 5 o'clock on a Sunday, he'd be closed. He's going to keep his hours the same as the mall hours.
Okay. Any
And-
other discussion?
And
I
the
take it
time
the
is,
motion on the floor, Councilor Bartley.
Did we start early?
yeah, we started at 6, David.
6 was the meeting.
Oh my God, I had it 6:30 the whole time. Sorry,
That's okay.
apologies.
I had the
And
same.
David,
thing,
I beat you by 4 minutes.
Wow.
We have a
Started the
veteran
meeting
committee
already.
here. They don't need us.
Yeah,
Oh my
we
gosh.
started ahead of
Okay,
time.
sorry about that.
I'll
Well,
bow out.
ladies and gentlemen, we know who the efficient counselors are now, the ones that logged in at 6 o'clock.
Wow. Man,
Touche, Mr. Graney.
when are we starting meeting at 6? Okay, that's
It's
We'll
because
change
that DGR committee forced us on Thursday, and I tried to be nice and start at 6.
oh gosh, okay. Oof.
2 more
right.
minutes, 2 more minutes, Peter. We would have had this all done before these guys got here.
You're right, we would have. We would have.
David, we're on item number 2. We have the applicant who's looking for a secondhand license. We vetted him with all the questions, keeping a log for the police department. Counselor Tallman's got the hours down and the days of operation, and we're just getting ready to vote on that.
Very good, thank you.
Any further questions?
I'll
On
make
motion-
a motion to approve the secondhand license.
Second,
Made and seconded. All those in favor? Any
Aye.
opposed? So moved.
And you have your quorum, so I'll bow out now.
Thank you, Counselor
Thank you.
Reagan.
Thank you,
Thank
Thank you,
Council.
Linda.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. And I hope we made good of your last name. Hope we
Thank you.
pronounced it right.
Yes, Mama John. Yeah,
You
thank
can, we will forward this to the full city council next Tuesday night. And then the city clerk, the day after, give the city clerk's office a call and they'll tell you how to pick up the secondhand license.
Thank you very much, sir.
Okay, so that's not, not until a week from yesterday. Call the city clerk.
Yes, sir. We'll do that. Thank
You're
you.
all set, but thank you for being with us.
Thank you for being
Thank
here.
you,
Good
sir.
luck.
Have a good evening. Thank you.
Have a good
Thank
evening.
you.
I see our tax collector is with us. Are we going to item number 3?
So moved.
Motion made and seconded to take item 3 off the table. All those in favor?
All right.
Any opposed? This is a request of transfer of $5,102 from tax title certification to pay vacation buyback. On the motion to discuss, Katie Jakowski is with us. Katie, would you like to run through this with us?
Sure. It's all it is transferring money to a personnel line item to provide my 2 clerks in my office with vacation buyback, because obviously this year has been weird and their union has been given the option to roll over additional weeks, but then any remaining balance that they haven't used, they can ask for a buyback if the department has the money in the budget. I happen to have money available in this line to cover these, so I would like to do that for them, as they have been working diligently and hard for me all year.
As far as where the money is coming from, the tax title certification, you'll still have enough money to finish this year?
Yeah.
Okay. And we've handled this a couple of times. It's a bit not usual. It's a bit different, but it is related to contractual, but it's also related to COVID, which both the state and private sector, a lot of people are doing this. Is there any questions for our tax collector? Counselor Sullivan.
Yep. Thank you. Kate, in the calculation of free cash, there's a tax title variance of $71,252. That has nothing to do with the tax title certification account?
No, I believe that is the tax title receivables account. So it's just a reconciliation between what the treasurer's records show and what is shown in the GL. It has nothing to do with my account.
Okay, thank you. That was my only question.
Any other discussion? Counselor Murphy?
Yeah, this is not a question. This is just, first of all, I want to thank Kate for being willing to take on the additional responsibility that she did in terms of this CARES Act, like auditing and accounting. Unfortunately, she was not able to get an additional stipend, which I think is a shame. But I want to thank her for doing what she did, for stepping up, and I want to make sure that the public knows that, you know, she did this not probably knowing she wasn't going to get reimbursed, and still took it on. And I just hope that as we go along, we remember that. And Kate, I just want to personally thank you. You've given me a lot of information that I've been able to use, and I want to thank you for that. So,
Thank you, Counselor.
Any further discussion? Counselor Bartley?
Just a quick one. Kate, thanks for being here. In the in your budget, what do we have budget for tax title certification? What was it, about eight or 10,000?
8,000, I believe. Yes.
8,000. Okay. And so what is that generally used for? And then why don't we need that for FY21?
So I have the excess in it because I did an encumbrance from my tax title recordings from last fiscal year because I hadn't received the bill by June 30th. And to date, I still have not received the bill from the Registry of Deeds. So I have an excess $8,000 in that account as opposed to the original $8,000 budgeted for FY21. So that's where the excess is, but that's what it's used for, is for the recording fees when I do new tax taking.
Sure. Are we going to get a bill from the registry?
I have not gotten anything from them. And I looked around to see if maybe it went to the wrong department, but no, I have no idea. If and when it comes, I will have money to figure out how to cover it. But
okay, so in other words, so you feel comfortable that you'll have money to cover it if and when the bill comes?
Correct.
Okay, and then do we typically budget $8,000 in that? Because that's I mean, it's pretty well pro forma, right? I think you pretty much have the same amount every year, don't you?
Yeah, pretty much. In the past year, over the past year, the recording fees have increased to 105 from 75. So I probably need a little bit more depending on the number of tax takings that happen. But with the reduction in my advertising costs, I was able to deal with that difference.
And how'd you reduce advertising costs?
I switched from the Republican to the Sun for
Hallelujah.
advertising.
Hallelujah. So that's a good jumping off point, Mr. Chairman, to our next couple items. How about that for timing?
Great segue.
No, that wasn't even planned.
No, that's a great segue.
Right?
Oh, that's great. Thank you.
Any other discussion? Chair will entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the transfer.
Motion made, second to approve the transfer. Refer that to the City Council next Tuesday. If there's no further discussion, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Unanimous. Councilor Lake, he did have a family commitment tonight. That's why he's not here. He perhaps will join us late, but he was good enough to let me know. Thank you, Kate. Are you still in another meeting?
No.
No? I'll talk to you later. Thanks. Okay, we have next two items are Councilor Bartley's orders, item 4 and 5. Councilor, would you like to take them together or separate?
Yeah, might as well take them to. Well, let me just. I don't have the. Oh gosh.
We can vote separately.
Yeah, take them both up.
Okay.
Make a motion to take up items number 4 and 5 together.
Second.
Motion made, second to suspend the rules to take items 4 and 5 together. All those in favor? Any
Aye.
opposed? Item 4 is introduced by Councilor Bartley. In order that the City Council and any other city departments look into the minimizing of legal notice and advertising costs. There are now 3 newspapers covering Holyoke and each provides legal ads. Please refer to the administrative assistant who shall report back to the finance committee with a report comparing the ad rates and other relevant factors. Item 5, also introduced by Councilor Bartley. The City Council referred to the Law Department a question asking whether a petitioner to the City Council requiring a public hearing be it a business, an individual, a public or private corporation, and or any petitioning entity is compelled to provide public notice via newspaper of record whether the City Council can petition the state legislature under a home rule petition to waive any state law requiring public notices to be placed in the local newspaper as long as the City Council and or other city department publicly provides notice on the website of the City of Holyoke. Background, this matter was recently raised because of issues of the cost to public to the public to comply with to the public that could be and could comply could be prohibited.
Yeah, and I'll make a motion to take number 6 off the table, and then I'll just make a motion on 5 real quick.
Okay, motion also made to take up item number 6.
I'll second that.
All those in favor? Any
Aye.
opposed? This is from our city solicitor, Crystal Barnes. It's a letter regarding overtime paid during city hall closures.
Oh, shoot, I thought, no, I'm sorry, Joe, I thought that.
Yeah, the legal, there is a legal opinion that came in.
Okay,
about
I looked at quick. Okay, so I'm going to make a motion to say 5's complied with, then under discussion once I get a second on that.
Okay.
Second.
Motion has been seconded that 5 was complied with. Am I reading into it? That's the legal opinion we got from
Yeah.
city solicitor?
So that one we're okay with, Mr. Chairman. But I'm grateful, A, that I filed it, and B, that we had a good discussion in City Council, and C, that we got a good law opinion, because now we know, right? So now we're all aware. This is what the deal. I mean, this advertising business goes back to England. I mean, this is 17th century stuff that we shouldn't have to deal with in a modern society, but yet the law department says we can't do anything less imposing than what the legislature allows. So maybe one day legislature will step into the 21st century, and we can advertise online, and where most people get their news, and instead of the small type in the legal notices that even lawyers don't even look at it. But now we know, Mr. Chairman, that's a requirement that you have to advertise. So I'm glad that this one's complied with, but I'm also glad that you were gracious enough to take up 4 as well. So
just on 5, so you know, our Crystal Barnes, our city solicitor, is with us tonight.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's up to you. You're the chair, but I'm pretty well clear on what the.
No, I understand, but is there any discussion, any questions for our city solicitor on this item? Crystal, you're happy with your opinion?
Of course. I was trying to be as I was trying to be as thorough as I could. I mean, for a long time, I think we've all just felt that the Republican was the way to go. It's obviously the most circulated. It hits, all the surrounding communities, not just Holyoke. So I think there's a purpose for it for some matters that, we really want opinions from surrounding communities. But I think for a general permit, you're more concerned about your local citizens. You're not concerned about what somebody in Springfield has to say for somebody, applying for a variance. So they all have a purpose, but to be careful of what, petitioners doing their own special permit publications, their lead time is different. So the Republican only requires a couple days. The Holyoke Sun requires, over a week. So it's something that people need to be cognizant of, that they can't wait until the last minute to be scheduling their publications if they are going to use the smaller newspapers. But that's something that, we can sort out, or, I don't know if it's something that we want to post somewhere about who to contact and help and et cetera. But yeah, it's just a general circulated newspaper. We don't necessarily have to go with the Republican all the time.
And as a city, we can offer the options to any petitioner?
Correct. So they follow the same laws we do. So whether we're publishing or they're publishing, it just has to be a newspaper of general circulation. So it does have to be something that's going to hit the entire city. You can't go so small that it's just maybe a community or a block paper or something like that. It's got to be, fully citywide newspaper. So my suggestion would be the Holyoke Sun. or, you know, the Republican if you're trying to reach a larger audience, but.
A question, Mr. Chair.
Councilor Bartley, motion complied with?
I think I heard Councilor Graney, then I'll go after Councilor Graney.
Councilor Graney?
Yeah, I just, through the chair, if I could ask Crystal a question, please.
Sure, go right ahead.
Yeah, we just need to advertise in one of the papers. We don't have to advertise in all. For instance, the Gazette also covers Holyoke now, along with the Republican and the Holyoke Sun. We just need to advertise in one.
Correct. Just one publication. I mean, you have to follow whatever the rules are, whether it's one publication or whether it's 2 successive weeks, whatever, you know, happens to be the regulation that you need to cover, but just one newspaper. And just making sure that the dates, timeline, all of that is covered. But if the Gazette is part of Holyoke as well now, then that's another option.
So in your opinion, would the publication be the one that has the highest circulation in Holyoke?
It just has to be a general circulation. So I'm assuming they all reach the same, they would all be considered the same. I don't think Holyoke Sun or the Gazette are gonna reach more or less. If they publish in Holyoke, then they publish in Holyoke. I just mean, you know, sometimes we have like community organizations that might put out a newsletter. That's not sufficient. We need like an actual newspaper publication. But for some things, you know, you're going to want to reach sort of outer communities. So that's where the Republican comes in, where they hit Springfield, Westfield, Longmeadow, East Longmeadow, that sort of stuff. So
thank you.
Just one.
Councilor Bartley?
Yeah, I think that, right. I don't think anybody's saying that. I think what we're saying in this one is for 5 anyhow, is that we just wanted to know if it was a requirement, and I was pretty sure that it was, but I wanted to get a legal opinion on that. But I think the main event's 4, and I don't think anybody's saying we're going to the city of Holyoke is going to advertise in a, you know, some sort of a handbill or a flyer. But now there's certainly 4. I wrote in there 3, but there are 4 actually. Newspapers of general circulation publishing. So the Springfield newspaper is outrageous and it's a ripoff, and the other papers are still considered general circulation. The Reminder, the Gazette, and the Sun. I mean, especially for anybody, whether it was cities paying for it or the vendors paying for the petitioner. So that's why I'm excited to hear what Jeff has to say. If he's completed it, I don't know if he's had time, but we'll dive into that. So I'm pretty well set with 5, and I just want to sort of move that along and get to 4. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Bartley. Thank you, Crystal. The motion is item 5 is now complied with our opinion.
You got Terry's hand up, Joe.
Councilor Murphy.
Yeah, I want to clarify. So the advertisement has to be, or the posting has to be in either once or in some cases twice, and the 2 times have to be a week apart.
Yes.
It depends on what they're falling under. Is it a special permit? Is it a public hearing? Is it I don't know off the top of my head, stormwater authority. Sometimes different hearings require different amounts of publication. Sometimes it's one publication just as part of a notice, like you would post your normal meeting notice. It has to be published. Sometimes it's once for 2 separate weeks. You have to follow the rules. Without a specific, it's hard to say, but.
Okay. But is it ever more than twice?
I don't know something off the top of my head, but sometimes possibly. Okay. I don't want to say no because I feel like there's probably some random scenario out there where it might be, but.
Okay. All right. No, I appreciate it.
They're following the rules. The idea being that you can pick a newspaper.
Okay. Thank you.
No hands. Anything further?
No, on the motion.
Motion on the floor is that this order has been complied with the legal opinion from our city solicitor. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? So moved. Crystal, if you could hang on, we'll be back for item 6 in a minute.
And then
item number
on
4, Councilor Bartley.
Yeah, I just want to hear from Jeff if he's had a chance. I'm just trying to look at that Google Drive he came up with. So
that is something else, Jeff. Thank you.
My God.
Hey, I popped in there. I was printing all kinds of stuff without having to print everything. It was great.
To be fair, it's going to make your job a lot easier too.
Item number 4, Jeff, I put it on the agenda real quick. We just got it last week, but do you have a chance to get anything on that yet?
Yeah, actually, when Councilor Bartley and I first spoke about it, it was maybe not even a week into when I started. And that day I started looking around, and I looked at the website for the reminder, and they do a charge. They charge by every 15 words. And so I plugged in a couple of sample notices for stuff we've already done to look at fees. I looked at one of the bills we had received that had gone out for an ordinance hearing, and gave a call to somebody with the, not the reminder, with the Sun. And so one bill that we got from the Republican was close to $600 for a 2-week public hearing notice. What I got back from the Sun, I sent them 2 samples. They charge by the square inch. So it's not letters or words, it's square inch of basically paper space. And the 2 samples, one was $84, $85, something like that. One was $94, right around there. And then it would be twice that much for the way that the reminder charges. So there's a pretty clear difference. In fact, there are some hearings for the DGR meeting coming up on Monday where we used the reminder instead of a Republican. It's a pretty stark difference between the options. I haven't looked into the Gazette. It wasn't part of our conversation, but I will definitely do that tomorrow.
Councilor Bartley?
Yeah, I mean, it's up to the committee. I think that I don't know if Jeff wants to formalize that in a little comparative report and send it to the committee. So, we could table it here, or we could just anticipate getting it for next week and just move it along. I mean, I'm pretty well satisfied that the order has been complied with, because now we've got affirmative data showing what rates are, comparatively speaking, and I think that's going to help the city. I hope Jeff will prepare something for us, because he might be able to distribute that to other departments. And actually, go ahead. Sorry, Jeff.
If I may, when I spoke with the representative from the Sun, they had said that several other city departments were already using them, and that's already been mentioned during this meeting, actually.
Yeah, so I guess I'm okay with. I mean, these rates fluctuate, Mr. Chairman, but I mean, I think when you're talking $600 compared to, $100 or $200, it's a pretty stark difference. So.
Yeah.
Big difference.
Thank you.
So I'm hearing we're going to make a motion. The order was complied with and forwarded to the city council. Both the legal opinion and this, whatever Jeff puts together for us, we'll certainly have copies made of it for all committees that have public hearings.
Yeah,
that
great.
makes sense. And before, is there any more discussion? Jeff, before you sign off, before I recognize Councilor Tomlin, I just want to say something. You are got to be the most dapper looking administrative assistant the city council's ever had. I mean, look at this with the tie. This is something else and on Zoom. What do you think, Councilor Bartley?
You showed up.
Councilor Tomlin.
Yeah, thank you. I just want to thank Councilor Bartley for bringing this forward, and Jeff for your research. I mean, I think it's definitely, you see that can be a savings to be made, and not just through the council, other departments, and even, the general public. So thank you for the work you did, and I'm looking forward to getting some kind of a sheet just showing the differences in the cost through the different publications. Thank you.
Any other discussion?
Mr. Chairman?
Councilor Bacon.
Thank you. Just a quick comment. I want to thank you for whatever tweaking you did to the Google Drive, because now I can see it. Thank you.
I see no hands. I see no one ready to speak. Are we all set? Councilor Graney, all set?
I'm all set.
All right. The motion on the floor is complied with, and we look forward to maybe a small report, Jeff, that we'll keep in all committees, but I think we get the general gist of the idea, and we certainly got the legal opinion, which is self-explanatory for the other item.
I'll
Yeah,
second
I'll
that.
put something together for going along with this order during the council meeting next week.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? So moved. We have one more item. Item number 6 is from our city solicitor. It's also a letter regarding the overtime pay during city hall closures. This was requested by the full city council and came in and referred to the finance committee. Motion to take off the table, okay?
So moved.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Krista, if you could just run through this real quick. I think we understand the reason for the request, and we just want to make sure we're all on the same page when this happens.
Sure. It's basically anytime that City Hall is closed, and the only contracts I found that this applies to is the 2 DPW contracts. I went through all the others. They don't have these clauses in them. So it's only DPW that when City Hall is closed, they get time and a half. There's a work remotely. So that question is still being sort of discussed between the union and the city, whether or not that really falls under what the intent of this was. Generally, the intent being that if City Hall is closed for weather-related reasons, obviously DPW is still working to, clear roads, clear shoveling, all that. They would get time and a half. So there's a dispute as to what the clause really means as far as the intent, but I don't have an update on that yet. It'll probably be another month or two before we sort that out.
Is there any questions for our city solicitor? Councilor Tomlin.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Crystal, I understand with the weather-related closures, but like on a holiday, does that work the same way? Like day after Thanksgiving, City Hall is closed and there's some kind of storm and the DPW has to work, they will get paid time and a half?
I believe that is under that, if not under a different part of their contract, that for holidays, they get time and a half if they're required to work. I think this clause was mostly just for snow-related closures, like unexpected closures.
Okay, yeah, because that's a thing that's come up with several of my constituents about them being off, say on say Christmas is on a Wednesday and Thursday and Friday they decide to close up City Hall, and the DPW has to work. It's a big cost to the rest of to the city budget. I'm just, if you could give me some kind of a answer with that for maybe Tuesday, I'd like to know that.
Yeah, I'm trying to see if I can get in remotely real quick and pull up that contract for you and see if it falls under this or if there's another clause. I do believe that's true. I think it's time and a half, that if we're closed for holidays, that if they have to work. But
I think Councilor Tomlin's question is, it's not so much the holiday. That would be obvious if they have to work on Thanksgiving.
right, it's the extra days that are
Extra day or two.
It's the day after.
right. Good old Comcast internet working away.
Well, while you're waiting, just so you know, there is one other contract, although I don't think we're too worried about it, but the Holyoke Housing Authority has a contract that says the same thing.
Do we control the Holyoke Housing Authority contract though?
We don't.
No.
But the mayor does have a lot to say about the Holyoke Housing Authority. A lot of people don't know that.
Let me grab this. I mean, I just have to find it. So when the mayor closes City Hall for business other than holidays, all essential personnel who are required to work will receive overtime for hours worked. All non-essential personnel will be sent home. So if it's not a holiday, this clause would apply.
But not COVID.
Not COVID. And like I said, there's a dispute about, the intent of this, and it's being looked at when these negotiations occurred, sort of where this clause came from. And especially now, like I said, with everybody working remotely, it's a little different that when City Hall is closed, it doesn't mean people aren't working. Especially now everybody has laptops, we can work remotely, et cetera. So there's a little bit of a discussion going on whether or not, like I said, recently we closed for cleaning, but everybody was still working. So even though the building physically was closed, business wasn't stalled. So other than holidays, if City Hall is closed, so those extra Thursday and Fridays would count as closing business. So that would be time and a half.
Right.
Councilor Murphy?
Yeah, just so I'm gonna make sure I got this. So if that happens, does that include anyone, including police, fire, DPW, any of those?
It's only for these contracts. So the two DPW contracts, UPS-EU and UFCW, that's the only two that contain this clause.
Okay.
DPW, I'm sorry, fire and public and police, the public safety, they work 24/7 in holidays. So their contracts already address that in their appropriate ways.
Right.
Correct.
But I'm only thinking if we're considering when we give extra days off after a holiday, those aren't really holidays other than DPW contracts. So, I mean, that was, as I was listening, I'm thinking like, this could cost us a lot of money.
Yeah, good question. Oh, it would cost a lot of money. But yeah, it's a good question, but it's only the DPW.
Okay.
Crystal?
Yes.
I just had a thought now. We, with City Hall being closed and the City Council was locked out of the building, do we get time and a half?
Not in your contract.
What contract?
Exactly. Join the club.
I think ours is longer than yours, but I won't say anything. We're working on it. Anything else?
Can I make a motion that item 6 has been complied with?
Second.
Motion made, second. Item 6 is complied with. Is there any further discussion? If not, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. Thank you, Crystal. We're looking at a meeting. We probably won't meet now until after the first of the year, which will be a good chance. I had it in the back of my mind. I'm sorry, but I'll get the date to you. There's a couple dates coming up, and I heard there's a couple of grants coming in that are time sensitive. The reason for tonight was we were supposed to have police grants coming in, but they didn't make the agenda last week. And the 2 secondhand licenses, especially the second one, was time sensitive because the petitioner is ready to set up shop at the Holyoke Mall in the 1st of January. Is it, Peter?
Right, the 1st of January. Yeah.
So and then the other orders I think were very appropriate to have on and good discussions. I appreciate everybody working on a Thursday night. But with that in mind, there's nothing else.
Motion adjourned.
Second.
Motion made, second to adjourn. All those in favor?
Have a good night, everybody.
Have a good night.
Thank you, everybody.
Right.
See you next week.
Stay safe.
When you run meetings.